Good morning! Wow, look at that login screen. This is because today is the release of the new quest, While Gothic Sleeps. Let's log in. I logged in underwater, but it looks like they drained all the water. Oh, never mind. What is this? Guardian of Armadil. I mean, it's probably something from the new quest. How far is... Oh, goodbye. We got some lore slash storyline of the quest, and because the quest is so new, I mean, it just came out in the last few hours, the wiki isn't quite clear whether or not you actually have to wait to get this before you start the quest, but I mean, either way, it's only a couple minutes before you get this once you log in. Probably assuming you have the requirements. You can see other people's Guardian of Armadil that they get. Bro thinks he's a random event. This is the spot where you're gonna start the quest, pretty close to the crystal chest. That rhymed. And yeah, let's jump into the news post. And just like with most of the game update videos that I make, I want to go over all the news from the past week or so, not just today's update. But we are going to start with While Gothic Sleeps. Let's open this up, and this is the 5th Grandmaster Quest in the game. I was taking a look at the wiki. These are all the Grandmaster Quests in the game. While Gothic Sleeps is the 5th one, with the previous one being DT2 that came out in July of 2023, so it's been like almost exactly a year since the last Grandmaster Quest. Like a lot of game updates in the past, things do break sometimes, and that's one of the benefits of living in the Pacific time zone, because by the time I wake up, at least with the DGen sleep schedule, most of the things do tend to have already been fixed by then, at least the major things that broke from the update. Or if Jagex accidentally spawns Twisted Bows outside the farming guild, then you get to be asleep for the whole entire rollback and you don't lose any progress, and you get to wake up and see all the drama that occurred on social media. But we have the changelog. Now here's all the hotfix stuff, and then we have the changelog of all the changes from the game update, which is a summary of everything. But I'm gonna go through the long version of everything to get all the info. Here's the requirements for both quests and skills that you need for the quest. They released all this stuff weeks, if not maybe even a month or a couple months in advance possibly, so there's plenty of time to get all this stuff done. And as for the quest rewards, kind of spoilers, but not really. A lot of juicy XP. You get 5 quest points and access to be able to fight tormented demons, which has the new drops that we'll be going over in just a minute, and access to the ancient Gothixian temple, which is where you fight the tormented demons. And like I showed already, you do start the quest here in Taverley. And the text here says you start by speaking to Ivy, who's keen to follow up on an ominous letter. So it does sound like you have to wait for the letter. As part of this historic quest, we're summoning back an iconic enemy, the Tormented Demons. Did you see what they did there, summoning? Because the quest is from RuneScape 2, and summoning was a requirement, although I don't believe there's a summoning requirement in OSRS for this quest. Tormented Demons have 2 new unique drops. There's a Tormented Synapse and the brand new Bone Claws. To make the Bone Claws, you have to get 2 of the Bone Claw to form the Bone Claws. As for the Tormented Synapse, you can use this to make 3 new Demon Bane weapons. There's Emberlite for melee, Scorching Bow for range, and the Purging Staff for mage. And these are Demon Bane weapons, so they're gonna be good for demons. What are some demons in OSRS, you may ask? Well, some of the more notable ones: Greater Demons, Black Demons, Abyssal Demon, Bloodveld, Hellhound, Demonics, Necreals. Demon Bane weapons do work for Fiend monsters, but they do not work for Revenant monsters that are counted as demons. And then all these bosses here: Sire, Cerberus, Zami, Skatizo, Duke. While the Synapse itself is tradable, the weapons that you make out of it are not, and you'll have to get level 74 in the corresponding skill to be able to make these. And there's no NPC that can craft them for you like there are with other similar kinds of weapons, which means if you're a main or an iron, you will have to get that level 74 to craft it yourself. They did change the names of 3 of these original proposed names for these new weapons. The Bone Claw, or Bone Claws, was originally supposed to be the Burning Claws. Emberlite was originally supposed to be Firelight, and the Purging Staff was originally supposed to be Ignited Staff, but these are the names that are set in stone and are in the game now. They did originally show all these new weapons in the rewards blog from late May, but as you'd expect, over the course of the last couple months, they have made some tweaks since then. So we got the 3 Demon Bane weapons, and we'll start with the Emberlite. This is a direct upgrade to the Arclight. The special attack is pretty much the same thing, lowers the opponent's attack, strength, and defense levels by 5% of their base level plus 1. However, this effect increases to 15% against demons, whereas the Arclight is only 10%. A bit easier to compare the stats side by side this way. The left we have Arclight, we got plus 10 stab. The Emberlite has plus 63 stab. The slash on Arclight is 38, whereas the slash on Emberlite is plus 70. The defense is, I guess that has the crush defense, but It's pretty negligible. And then for strength bonus, the Emberlite has +5 strength over the Arclight. Special effects: with the Emberlite being a Demonbane weapon, you get 70% increased accuracy and damage against demons, which is the same as Arclight. Keep in mind though, Duke has an exception to that passive effect. He has a 30% resistance to Demonbane, which means this is the wiki page for Arclight because the Emberlite page isn't really updated, but Arclight has a only 50% accuracy and damage increase compared to the normal 70% against Duke. So I would assume that Emberlite is the same way. It's only 50% accuracy and damage for Duke. Oh, I scrolled down and it has all this info that I just looked up myself down here. The level 74 stat that you need: 74 smithing for the melee weapon, 74 fletching for the range weapon, and 74 crafting for the mage weapon. Man, they should have made it a 74 rune crafting requirement instead. That would have been epic. To make the Emberlite, besides the synapse, you also need a fully charged Arclight. That means 10k charges. 1k charges is 3 ancient shards. That means you need 30 ancient shards for the fully charged Arclight that you need to make the Emberlite. But the Emberlite is non-degradable. You do not have to charge it up or anything. It's permanent. In the future, I suspect they'll add more uses for the ancient shards, because right now the only other use is you use one to teleport you to a different altar in the catacombs, and it uses the ancient shard. And with how long it takes to get an ancient shard on average, I think it should have some better uses than that. So we'll see if they do future pulls to give it more uses. They put the mage weapon as the second one on the list, but the second one down here is the bow and the mage is the third on the list. But we're gonna go with the staff next. For the stats of the purging staff, I'm trying to figure out what other weapon to compare it to. I thought of maybe the Kodai. This has 37 mage accuracy, whereas the Kodai is 28 mage accuracy. The magic damage is 10%. The Kodai is 15%. I mean, 10% is still really good. It is a 5-tick weapon, both for melee and for casting spells. And as a melee weapon, it's like pretty decent. Like if you're in PvP and you accidentally staff bash, it's not too bad. I mean, you'll still get laughed at, but like, it's not too bad. It is a one-handed weapon, so you can equip a shield slot with it. One thing that makes it special is that it's able to auto-cast combat spells from the Arceus spellbook, which may not sound that amazing on its own, but it has a passive effect where, because it's a Demonbane weapon, using Demonbane spells will double the bonuses. For the special attack of the Purging Staff, you have to be on the Arceus spellbook to cast it, and you have to be targeting a demon. When you use the special attack, it'll cast your highest available Demonbane spell at the target, and if that kills the target, it'll restore your special attack by 25%, which is kind of cool because it takes 25% to use it, and it reduces the attack delay by 3 ticks for this weapon's next attack. So I guess it's not really that good. And for the third Demonbane weapon, we got the bow, and I thought maybe it's worth comparing to the Bofa. The accuracy of the Scorching Bow is 124, whereas the Bofa is 128. The range strength is +40, whereas the Bofa is 106, but the Bofa has the built-in ammo, whereas with the Scorching Bow, you'd use your own ammo that provides most of the strength bonus. And it is a 4-tick weapon if you have it set on rapid. On the wiki, it says that you can use arrows up to dragon, and then the passive effect of the bow is that it gives 30% increased accuracy and damage against demons, kind of like how with the Bofa you have the crystal armor, which gives you the increased accuracy and damage. And then we have the special attack, which uses 25% energy, and it binds the enemy for 5 ticks and inflicts burn during that duration, or if it's a demon that you use it on, it's for 20 ticks. That's the 3 Demonbane weapons, and then the other thing that we have is the Bone Claws. In RuneScape 2, Dragon Claws originally came from tormented demons, but in Old School, we have the Dragon Claws coming from Chambers of Xeric. Jagex made an opinion poll question a while back that wasn't going to be guaranteed one way or another, but they wanted to collect feedback from the community, and more people actually wanted Dragon Claws to be removed from Chambers and moved over to the Tormented Demons drop table, but as we now know, Jagex ended up not doing that. The Bone Claws are a melee spec weapon, and it's meant to bridge the gap between the Dragon Dagger and the Dragon Claws. And they reiterate again that you'll have to get 2 of the Claw drop in order to make the Bone Claws weapon. The special attack only takes 30% energy, whereas the Dragon Claws take 50%. But this is essentially supposed to work the same way as the D-Claws in terms of, this only does 3 hit spots instead of 4. And the special attack has a chance to inflict burn damage, which will deal 10 damage over the course of 40 ticks, 1 every 4 ticks, and it can stack up to 5 times. Overall, this is meant to be less DPS than Dragon Claws, but it's an interesting effect that the special attack does, which, while it may not be more DPS for PvM scenarios, it could help for PvP scenarios, doing extra damage when the enemy isn't necessarily expecting it. And it looks like that's it for the While Gothic Sleeps part of the news post. Next, they have new emotes. They have new emotes for both their Discord and Twitch channel, made by JordBear. And I was looking at these. My favorite ones are, I like the capybara with the orange on his head. And then the stray dog, he got shooed away. Someone please pet him. Tomorrow, July 11th, 4 p.m. British time, they'll be doing a While Gothic Sleeps launch stream on Twitch and YouTube, and they'll be talking to JMods, talking about the quest, rewards, and the lore. And they'll be answering questions too. There's some new pins in the merch store. The Pride event is now ended, which means no one is allowed to be gay again until next June. If you didn't do it, you can still get the rewards though. Next we have Deadman Armageddon, which is starting July 19th, and it's going until, I think it was August 3rd. Yeah, August 3rd is when it ends. It was the first time OSRS was on the list at SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quick, and a cold one did a sub 30 minute solo CM. And if you want to see the run or see, well, any of the stuff in the news post, I will have all the news posts that I mentioned in this video linked below in the video description, so you could check out any of these links if you're curious. The RuneScape cookbook, they're showing off some of the creations that people have made. Me and my group Ironman duo teammate, we got this cookbook actually. We haven't made anything from it yet, but we do plan to. We will. Maybe I'll post it on my IRL channel, which is also linked below in the description, by the way. The final part of the news post is the other changes section. They remove Laren's keys from the zombie pirates loot table and slightly increase the average quantity of cannonballs, but you can still get Laren's keys if you're on a zombie or pirate slayer task. I haven't killed any zombie pirates in the game. I didn't realize that you can get Laren's keys. It sounds like off task, you should get the keys. I should have taken the classic MMO advice of abuse early and abuse often. Fixed a bug where Nexus minions could take burn damage whilst invulnerable. And then for the sandstone grinder in the desert, every time you would put in the sandstone, you would get a message from the guy, from Drew, standing next to it, but now you get a game message instead. Added audio feedback to some buttons on the GE offer menu. An agility shortcut is no longer listed twice in the skill guide, and you can now collect herblore supplies from the Perilous Moons dungeon faster. Before we move on to looking at the next news post, I was looking at the collection log, and there is a new section for Tormented Demons. There is... Okay, they weren't loading for a second. There's the two items are on there. And the Tormented Demons have some combat achievements. There's 5 of them. There's 4 elites and 1 master. Some final thoughts about seeing the stats and whatnot of the new weapons. I'm not much of a DPS guy, so I don't know how all those calculations would work in properly, but overall, it seems like they're solid mid-game weapons that fit a niche, especially for players that don't have max or best in slot gear. But I think for the most part, they fit a mid-game niche, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go over more news posts from the last week or so. Next one I want to look at is Game Jam 5. Since the first Game Jam, there's been one every 6 months, and this is the 5th iteration of it. The Game Jams have been 1 to 2 weeks, and it's JMods creating their passion projects, whatever they wanted to see in the game or something they think might be fun or helpful. They just make it. It's not necessarily something that is gonna come into the game. I think a lot of people don't understand that. They just see the news post and think that we're getting all this stuff. This is not what's coming into the game. This is just individual JMods or maybe small teams of JMods have worked on something that they've always wanted to do because Jagex allocates them 1 to 2 weeks every 6 months to do whatever they want. On the wiki page for Game Jam, you could see all 5 of them with the dates right here. It started in April of 2022 and it's been every April and every October since then. And I went through the list, I added up all the yeses, all the things that got added and all the things that did not get added. And there were 18 yeses, 2 partials, and 47 no's. There's a total of 67, and if we just take the yeses, there were 18 things that were added out of the 67 total. That means about 26.8% of things that get proposed to Game Jam were eventually added into the game. But also, it's not like everything was added at once. A lot of these things, they were proposed, and then they don't even get pulled until months later, and they're all staggered. It's not like they'd all get pulled together. Some of these things weren't even added until like Game Jam 1 was in 2022, but this didn't get added until March of 2024. It was 2 years between the Game Jam concept versus actually getting added into the game. But some of these things that were never added into the game, it doesn't mean that they won't be added in the future. I'm just saying that these things haven't been added as of the time of recording this. And then we go back to what we have now, Game Jam 5. I'm just trying to make the point that don't expect all these things to get added into the game and get your hopes up for them, because more likely than not, it won't, because it's only like a 27% chance, historically speaking at least, that each of these things do get added. For each of these different concepts, it says the JMods that worked on them. And yeah, you can look through it. There's a lot of really cool concepts like bingo, official bingos being added into the clan system in the game. I could definitely see that one being added. I really think that the community of OSRS is the most important part of the game that has helped it grow and succeed and thrive over the years. And I'm really glad that they put this first on the list, because being a part of a clan and making friends and feeling like you're a part of a community is so important to the game. And this would really help to accentuate that even more, to make it an official part of the game. So this is really awesome, and I'm pretty confident that they will actually pull this and this will get added into the game. Bank loadouts, I really hope they add this one eventually. That'd be really cool. Revamping the bank deposit box. A lot of cool stuff on here. There's one more thing I want to find. Puffins! Penguins are my favorite animal, and there is puffins. They're on Harmony Island, and it'd be cool to have a quest based around them. Or Cold War II for more penguins. I'll take that. Unfortunately for me, and for Freddy, this is probably an update that won't be added to the game, at least not anytime soon, but I hope I'm proven wrong. You ever heard of this term, spheniciforms? This is an image, so I couldn't copy paste it. I had to actually type in the whole thing. Those are spheniciforms. On to the next news post. They got the GILOR Gazette for July of 2024. And this is kind of giving a lot of behind the scenes stuff. JMods giving their thoughts on things, maybe giving some hints at stuff in the future, talking about what's coming up, concept designs, talking about some lore of certain things that are in the game. And there's also some very important questions that are being asked and answered. This question was asked to Mod Arcane. If Araxor wore jeans, would he wear them like this, or like this? I think it'd be like this, yeah. We're also looking for answers to the question, what's your favorite old school plugin? So more hints that Jagex is probably working on plugins for the official client, at the very least for mobile, but maybe they're working on an official client behind the scenes that someday, years from now, will take over RuneLite, and you could only use their official beastly client someday. 2027. I saw at the bottom the list of JMods. It's really cool how many JMods there are nowadays. I don't even recognize a lot of the names. Also, this one just caught my eye out of nowhere. Like, whoa, mod criminal. Yo, who they hiring over there? The last news post I want to go over is RuneFest news. New date announced. Over the last few game update videos I've made, I've been talking and giving updates about RuneFest and what's happened with that. Well, now they have an official new date, which is going to still be in Birmingham at the NEC, and it's going to be March 1st through 2nd, 2025. It's going to be its own independent event and not in conjunction with Insomnia. And if you bought tickets previously, they will transfer to the new dates, so you will be able to use them. And they'll be selling an additional 1,000 tickets, plus any others that they refund from people that can't make it for the new date. So there's gonna be at least 1,000 tickets available for purchase, and you'll have plenty of notice for the date. So they'll say the dates of when the tickets will go on sale. They'll say that date well in advance. If you were planning on doing the camping at Insomnia, because Insomnia is no longer a thing, there is not going to be camping at RuneFest. I'm looking at flight prices, leaving, well, from here in Vegas, leaving from late February, $208. If you want the one suitcase plus being able to pick your seat, it'll be $300. And for the flight back, $400, $500 with that, $800 US. I mean, I could probably find better deals if I don't know if I just pick slightly better dates, but just taking 30 seconds to look at the prices, that's what we're looking at. They'll share more information about tickets and event details as soon as they're able to. I'm personally going to wait to buy the plane tickets at least until getting the RuneFest tickets. I don't think that they would change the date at this point. I think this should be pretty set in stone. Hopefully I don't eat my words on that, but they're not relying on anyone else. This is their own event this time. What could possibly go wrong, right? Flashback to exactly 5 years before this date. No, it'll be fine. That'll be good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there was the Deadman Armageddon news post, but I already went over this whole thing in a previous game update video. I think this is only showing some of the changes that they made, and there's a lot of changes that I personally don't care to like learn all this stuff. If I do end up playing, I'll probably just jump into it right away without doing much, if any, research beforehand. But yeah, they changed a lot of stuff, and there's all the information that they had before. It's a really big news post. And again, like I said, I will have all the news posts shown in this video in the description if you want to check it out more in depth for yourself, or if you want to check out any of these news posts more in depth for yourself. I never did While Gothic Sleeps in RuneScape 2, never got that quest done. It came out November of 2008, and I don't think I even had membership until 2008, and there was always so much more and more content being added to RuneScape 2 and eventually EOC and RuneScape 3. Like, so many things kept being added. I was never even able to catch up to all the content that was in the game at the time I got membership, and there's just more and more and more being added. I never made it to that point in RuneScape 2, but I'm excited to get this quest done probably in the next few days. Slayer Music posted this, so you know he's already getting to work on it. Feel free to share your thoughts on the new weapons, maybe share some super secret places you thought of to use them, or methods that you're looking forward to trying out with them. Whether you're a day one guideless questing person, or if you're going to be waiting a few days to have help, I hope you have fun with the quest whenever you get around to it. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you again next time.